Welkom bij een nieuwe aflevering van de Verder en Verder podcast.
Ja, en vandaag hebben we echt een hele bijzondere gast.
En daarom zijn we het ook wel voor het eerst aan het opnemen, toch? Met video.
Ja. Want hij komt speciaal uit LA, Los Angeles, naar ons Verder en Verder hoofdkantoor, waar we altijd de podcast opnemen, om een mega leuke podcast op te gaan nemen samen met ons.
Ja, we hebben namelijk in onze podcast hebben we Ricky Blair. En wij hebben een 10-weekse cursus bij hem gedaan. Afgelopen zomer is het geweest, hè?
Ja.
En wij hebben daar zo ontzettend veel geleerd over goalsetting, manifesteren, persoonlijk mindset, maar ook privédoelen behalen. Dat is echt ongelooflijk wat je allemaal kan leren. En eigenlijk waren wij daar zo enthousiast van dat we dachten, dit moeten eigenlijk veel meer mensen weten gewoon.
Ja, en even een side note. Toen ik begon zat ik wel een beetje in een slechte periode uit mijn leven. Dat weet jij denk ik nog wel.
Ja.
Dat mijn relatie net uitging. Ik zat er niet lekker in.
Nee.
Wist je nog?
Ja, weet ik nog, ja.
En toen had ik dus Ricky gebeld na onze ontmoeting in LA.
Ja.
En toen zei ik, nou dit en dit is er aan de hand. Mijn relatie is uit. Ik zit gewoon niet lekker in mijn vel. Mijn huis schiet niet op. Eigenlijk alles verliep niet helemaal goed in mijn leven.
Ja.
Kun je me helpen? Toen zei hij, nou ik heb dus een 10-weekse cursus. Daar kun je aan meedoen. En ik weet zeker dat dat je gaat helpen.
Ja.
En toen zei hij, ik start eind augustus met die cursussen.
Ja.
En toen had ik voor de eerste keer van mijn leven gezegd, nee, dat vind ik te laat.
Echt?
Ja.
En toen is hij eerder begonnen, toch?
Toen is hij eerder begonnen alleen met mij.
Ja.
En later ben jij natuurlijk ook gevolgd. En ik moet zeggen dat het mijn leven heeft veranderd.
Ja.
En ik ben veel positiever in het leven gaan staan. Ja. Ik was altijd heel geïnteresseerd in mindset, goalsetting, dat soort dingen. Maar ik heb echt de puntjes op de i gezet samen met hem. Ik heb heel duidelijk in me dat ik nu weet wat ik wil en wat ik niet wil.
Ja.
Maar ook wie ik ben.
Ja.
En wat ik wil bereiken überhaupt in mijn leven.
Ja.
En gewoon dat ik de hele positieve flow weer heb.
Ja.
En toen ik klaar was, toen dacht ik, Jezus, waarom weet niet iedereen dit?
Ja, en ook nog wel leuk om te weten, hij is natuurlijk ook een coach van heel veel echt bekende mensen.
Ja, dus daarom was het heel bijzonder dat we eigenlijk een cursus bij hem konden doen überhaupt.
Ja, dat had ik eerst helemaal niet verwacht.
Nee. Dus toen we klaar waren, toen hadden we een soort get-together met hem.
Ja.
En toen hadden we gevraagd of hij een keer naar Nederland wil komen om samen met ons een cursus te geven aan iedereen die zich heeft ingeschreven. Want ik weet zeker dat er zoveel mensen dit ook mega interessant vinden. En misschien ook op hetzelfde punt in het leven staan als ik toen stond.
Ja, en ons nichtje Manon heeft de cursus ook gedaan.
Manon van Essen.
Ja, die is ook een hele succesvolle onderneemster.
Ze zit ook bij Dragon's Den.
Ja, de jury van Dragon's Den. En zij is ook laaiend enthousiast. Dus zij zei echt, nou, als je hem naar Nederland haalt, dat is echt geweldig dat iedereen gewoon kan meedoen.
Ja.
Dus eigenlijk is het een cursus, je hoeft er niet eens ondernemer voor te zijn.
Nee, het kan ook over carrière gaan, of je privéleven, of je eigen bedrijf.
Gewoon beter in je vel zitten, dat kan.
Want dat was het toen bij mij wel.
Ja.
Dat het meer ging om beter in mijn vel zitten.
Ja. Dus zullen we hem maar erbij halen?
Ja.
Nou, in de podcast hebben we eindelijk Ricky Blair.
Ja.
Hij zit hier naast ons. Wij hebben dus met Ricky de cursus gedaan van Platform 7. Nou, we hebben daar heel veel doelen in opgeschreven. Daar gaan we zo nog wel meer over vertellen. En er zijn al een aantal uitgekomen. Ja, mag ik het al vertellen? Ja?
Nou, daarom ligt mijn laptop ook hier.
Ja.
Want voordat Ricky hier was, hebben we even snel de doelen die we hadden geschreven hebben teruggezocht.
Ja, dat was wel echt heel toevallig.
En zal ik er even bij pakken? En wat staat erin? Er staat in, ik sta in de Forbes. En wat is er maandag gebeurd?
We staan in de Forbes.
Ja.
Dus ongelooflijk.
In een half jaar tijd is dat dus gebeurd. En dat vind ik echt ongelooflijk. Want toen ik het opschreef, toen dacht ik echt, oké, dit duurt nog echt super lang. En dit is echt niet dat het zomaar...
Ik denk van alle doelen die je had opgeschreven, was dit wel degene die het minst snel had verwacht dat zou gebeuren.
Ja, echt. Ik dacht, ik ga eerst in Amerika wonen. Ik ga eerst de hele markt veroveren. En dan kom ik een keer in de Forbes. En nu is het andersom.
Ja, ongelooflijk.
Ja, echt ongelooflijk.
Maar Ricky die zit ons hier naast ons, uit LA. Dus we gaan daarom ook in het Engels praten. Ik moet zeggen, wij zijn echt niet goed in Engels, dus lag ons vooral niet uit. We zijn zelfs al naar de nonnen in Vught geweest om goed Engels te kunnen leren. Ik ben het alweer vergeten wat ik allemaal heb geleerd.
Ja.
Maar goed, het is dus goed verstaanbaar voor iedereen.
Ja.
Dus daar hoef je geen zorgen over te maken.
En tegen Ricky hebben we ook gezegd dat je gewoon langzaam Engels moet praten. Dus geen zorgen.
Oké. Welcome, Ricky,
Thank you, guys.
in our
to see you.
podcast.
Did you understand a word of it?
All I heard was Forbes and Forbes and Forbes.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
But that's the most important part.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Because when I was doing like the 10-week course
Yep.
with you, the second
Section.
session was about goal setting. And this was the goal. I thought it was like far, far away.
Yeah, you had to make a list.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in the list, you have to write down your goals and make it crystal clear.
And in the present time.
And that to you was the most unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's already happened.
It is the first one.
Can you
who-
tell me about how it happened?
Yeah, it was just... Is that the thing of manifestation?
Yeah.
It just happens out of the blue?
Yeah.
That's what we spoke about.
It moves like
Yeah.
water.
It moves like water, but it's also I think the thing we discussed that people struggle with the most is people get so obsessed with trying to work out how it happens, and you don't need to worry about how.
Yeah.
In the most random, crazy, like serendipitous way, it just comes along.
Yeah,
if you
it was
believe
just dropping out of the sky.
That's
They
incredible.
wrote us an email to our management.
Yeah.
That's incredible, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today we were at like Dutch television shows like the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
And today's coming another television show. So it's like big news in the Netherlands. So it's crazy.
What the Forbes is what's creating
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Because it's very special for Dutch people.
That's incredible. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
So-
Thank you. Thanks to you.
But tell me everything about yourself. I
Yeah.
know it a little bit, but the listeners and viewers don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Well, if I start from the beginning or early on, I grew up in London. I think the key part of my story starts at 16, where I was at school and school was an absolute disaster for me.
Yeah.
To the point where I had no option. I couldn't go to college. So I had to leave school at 16 years old
Why couldn't you go to college?
because my exam results were so bad that it really wasn't an option for me. And I remember thinking that this whole thing didn't make sense to me. How what you do or don't do at school can impact whether you can succeed
Yeah.
or fail in life. So the day I left school, I made this promise to myself. And the promise was that no matter what, I'm going to find some way of succeeding. And basically, I was obsessed by succeeding. I left school at 16. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I took a job as a tea boy, like all the way at the bottom.
Like the day after, or did you
Oh,
have
like
some?
3 weeks. I
depressing,
saw an advertisement in a newspaper
Yeah.
for like a junior. Like I made the coffees. That's all I did.
Yeah.
For a company of like 60, 70 people. And I didn't know anything. It was in commercial real estate.
So you can make coffees after the podcast. You can make
But
coffees for
the amazing
barista.
part,
Yeah.
and I swear to you, this is a true story. After about 3 weeks, they realized how bad my coffees were. So they stopped me from making coffees.
Okay, but I have a small question.
Please.
How was your self-esteem? Was it very low because you dropped out of school and you quit your dropped
Honestly,
out of your job?
it's such a great
job, so-
question. It was horrendous. I was very scared. I was demoralized. If I really think about where I was as a 16-year-old, I was so lost and scared and confused by where to go with my life. But the truth is, even from a younger age than 16, I was so ambitious. I was so obsessed by succeeding and maybe having my own business one day.
And your parents, what did they tell you?
They just...
They gave up.
They completely gave up. No, my brother, my older brother, he was like an academic genius. So
Oh my God.
They got lucky with one.
You were the black sheep.
Oh, I was a
family.
disaster. But no, they were very supportive.
Oh,
And-
that's very nice.
But yeah, I was so scared, didn't know what to do with my life. And I started in commercial real estate. And I didn't know I didn't think about real estate, but I was thinking, if I don't enjoy real estate, I could try this. And if I don't enjoy this, I could try fashion or recruitment or travel or whatever. And then I'm in this company, and a year goes by being the junior, and I get a call completely out of nowhere from this guy called Nigel. And he's this 55-year-old, very, very successful, multi-millionaire. And he says, I want to take you out for lunch. And I've never met him in my life.
Yeah.
But why?
Why?
Well, I'm thinking the same. I'm thinking, what the hell, what's happening here?
But why you?
So I go for lunch, and I'm so scared.
Yeah.
I'm in awe of this guy. And I said to him, the first thing I said to him was, I don't know who you think I am, but I don't know anything about real estate. So if you think I'm some hotshot real estate guy, you've got the wrong person. And I'm overwhelmed by this this lunch. And he said, it's okay, I want to help you. So I'm thinking, sure. In my mind, I'm like, well, is this like a wind up? Is it like a joke? And then he literally goes out of his way and he starts to help me. And he starts to teach. He asks me a few questions about where I am and what I want and what my fears are and what my dreams are. And he looks at me and he's like, okay, I'm going to help you. And I'm thinking, sure. So then I finish lunch. The next day, I'm driving into central London in my car, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and he calls me up and he said, right, I've got you a job interview at some company. And then I'm thinking, okay, what's happening here?
Yeah.
The next morning, 8 o'clock, another job interview. He keeps getting me job interviews, and to cut a long story short, I get offered a job. I don't want to take the job. I don't like it. I don't like the area it's in. And I said to him, thank you so much, Nigel, for everything you're doing, but I don't want to take that job.
Yeah.
And he said to me, Ricky, I'll never forget these words. He said, you listen to your Uncle Nigel, bearing in mind he's not my uncle.
Yeah.
He said, you're taking that job. And I don't know what it was. It was like the tone or the conviction. I just trusted him. And I thought, fuck it, why not? I took the job.
What kind of job was it?
It was a better job in commercial real estate. And all of a sudden I was like, I had like a platform to start doing deals and to start making money, and I was really learning stuff.
Yeah.
And moving on from that, every month I'd meet Nigel at the same restaurant, at the same table, we'd take the same seats in the window, and I'd go along with like a piece of paper, and I'd ask him everything: how to dream, how to manifest, how to goal set, how to make money, how to invest money, how to make decisions, how to treat people, like everything. And every month he would just answer all of my questions. And there's no question this man changed my life.
But did you never ask him, why me?
Yeah.
I'm always asked that question. And it took me about 4 years to have the courage to ask him why he helped me. Because I was like scared of the man.
Yeah.
I really was.
For Uncle Nigel.
Uncle Nigel, I was in awe of him. Yeah. And after 4 years, I asked him why he helped me. And he said, Ricky, when I was 16 years old, like you, Ricky, I was so desperate to succeed. And he said that he was desperate to find someone that could show him how to succeed. Yeah. And he would write to people, he'd meet up with successful people, and no one would ever help him.
Oh.
And he promised himself that if he ever succeeded in life, he would find someone to pay it forward and help.
But he saw it in you.
I guess so. I mean, he said, Ricky, you were in the right place at the right time. But years later, he explained this to me. He could see how desperate I was to succeed.
But how did you meet each other?
It was very like serendipitous.
What's that word?
It was like fate.
Oh, yeah.
And so my father is in jewellery. Yeah. And Nigel, he bought a piece of jewellery for my father. And I think Nigel asked my father questions, and my father said, oh, my son Ricky's gone into real estate, which is the same industry. And then he said, Nigel said, I've got to call your son. Yeah. And that was it.
Okay. And then?
And then the magic started. Yeah. And then I started, so I set up, I was working, and I started to work with my best friend, who also dropped out of school. His name is Sean. And when I was like 21, 22 years old, so I'd already been working for about 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I started to, Nigel taught me about manifesting, about visualizing, and about dreaming and goal setting. I thought, let's try this. So my first dream when I was 21, I had this crazy dream to go into business with my best friend. Yeah. He was like a brother to me. We went to school together since we were like 6 years old. And then next thing I know, I turned 23, 24, and we set up this company along with another guy. And there were 3 of us. And we literally, we were running this commercial agency in central London. And all we did was implemented all the things Nigel taught us. And I know this sounds very ungracious, unhumble, but we completely revolutionized the entire industry in the UK. And I think part of it was implementing the things Nigel taught us. And the other part of it was we were so much younger than all the competition that we just looked at the industry, we looked at the market, and we thought, how can we do it better than how it's currently being done? And basically, the company just went from like, it just kept growing. Every building, every office building in London, we tried to get like the rentals or the sales for. We literally won every single piece of work.
Oh.
And also we were very lucky, like we worked really hard. Nobody understood our market in London like we did, but all the tech companies from Silicon Valley, New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, they all wanted an office in London and they all came to our area.
That's great.
And it was just crazy. And almost as a way of thanking Nigel and sort of paying forward what he taught me, we would only employ young, ambitious, entrepreneurial-minded people. So I think at our peak, we had about 70 people working for us, and they were all of the age of like 16
No way,
to 25
that's really
years
young.
old.
But also dropouts.
All dropouts.
Yeah?
The more screwed up I'm joking. No, but they'd all, but the honest truth is, and I never really told many people this,
Yeah.
I used to interview everyone.
Yeah.
I never looked at their resume. I held the resume in my hand, but I never...
Just to
I didn't
for
care.
show?
Yeah, of course. I mean, all I wanted to understand was what their driver was, what their passion was, why they wanted to succeed. And basically we mentored them and we taught them all the things, all the principles, all the lessons that Nigel taught me, we'd pass on. And it was just amazing. It was so much fun.
And you sold after the company, right?
Yeah.
After how many years?
Well, about 3 years, 3.5 years. We didn't, it was crazy. It was just carnage. It was just all very mad. And about 3.5 years in, we received an offer from one of the biggest real estate companies in the world. And they offered us like, it was millions of pounds. And we didn't understand what was happening because we didn't really dream that big at that stage. And then the next thing that happens, every big property company in the world, the top 5, they all offer us an amount of money.
All 5?
All 5.
Wow.
One after the other. And my personal intuition, like it felt like it wasn't the right time. So my partners, one of them, Sean wanted to sell. He would have taken every time we received an offer, he was happy to sell.
Because he was done.
He had a young family, he had children. It was more money than we ever dreamed of.
Yeah, okay.
And it was a difficult decision to say no, but my instinct, I just felt it was a no. And
he said to you, fuck off with your instinct.
I'm glad I'm elsewhere. He said, you're an idiot. He said, you know what? He said, you can stay, I'll go, and I'll take my money. That's what he said. And basically, I just said, no, we're going to build this thing. So I go to Los Angeles about a year later. I had this I'm on the beach in Malibu, and I just had this vision of, my dream was always to move to America, to Los Angeles specifically. And I had this dream of selling the company. And once I could sell the company, I was free to go to Los Angeles and follow my own passions and my own dreams. And I had this number in my mind, an exact amount of money we're going to sell the company for. So I went away and I, like you guys did with Forbes, I dropped this vision, this dream, this vision board, and I had a plan. And I go back to London and I sit down with my 2 business partners and I'm explaining, it was a 2-hour meeting, and I present it to them. And I tell them that this is where we are, this is where we've come from, this is where we're going, this is the dream, and this is how we're going to get there. And this is the number that we're going to sell for. And
it was a big number.
I think it was about 6 times larger, bigger than the original numbers we received. And I'll never forget it. Sean, bearing in mind, is my best friend. He was like you guys, every day we'd be talking about work and where the numbers are at and good days and bad days.
Yeah.
And he looks at me, we supported each other. And at the end of the presentation, when I mentioned that the number we're going to sell for, he turns around to me, he said, "You're a fucking idiot." I swear to you. And I said, "You know what? Cool. I'll take care of this and I'll take care of that." And literally every day I was just obsessed with this dream.
Yeah.
Every single day I saw it, morning, noon and night. And then about a year and a half. And to be honest, I was scared by the dream.
Yeah,
it was
of course.
crazy. And it meant us building different departments and revenue streams. And a year and a half later, the first company that made us the first offer, they make us an offer, and I swear to you, it's the exact number to the pound. I even wrote out a check to myself with this is 2 years prior to.
Yeah.
And it happened. And basically, we received this offer, it was crazy, and we knew we had to sell it. And we sold that, we did the deal, it was in, I think, 2016. Sean now goes on to other podcasts and tells them what he did.
So he had to take back his words.
He had to take back, he actually says it, it's great. It's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. He takes credits for the...
Oh, it's all him. And yeah, it forever changed my life.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that was the point. Maybe you thought, okay, this is how it works.
100%. And I think the saddest part for me, not just in the last 4 to 5 years, but when I left school at 16, I learned all of these things, all these principles, a lot of the things that we went through in the course and we're going to talk about in the event. And it genuinely upsets me that we are not taught this stuff growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've always studied successful people in all different fields, sports, business, music, philanthropy, everything. And what I've learned is you see a lot of successful people, they didn't go to college or they dropped out of college. And what's amazing is all the principles that we talk about at Platform 7 that we went through, they know all of these things. They either know it consciously because somebody taught them, or unconsciously, meaning it's just natural to them.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that's, for you, I mean, you guys are always positive naturally, and I think you've always been very clear. So but not everyone does it like that.
Yeah. So, but what was that the point you thought, okay, I'm going to learn other people how to do this?
Teach other people how to do this?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I can correct you with that, your English. My passion, my dream growing up as a child, I always had this feeling about how we're educated and how we're not taught what we should really be taught. And it used to upset me.
Yeah.
And I've really looked into the reasons as to why they don't teach us these things. And it's actually quite sad. So what I've realized is there are so many people out there that want to learn this information and learn this stuff. And what's also, it's so sad about it is there's so much information out there. There are so many books out there. There are so many gurus. But there's also a lot of bad information or, shitty books or it's difficult to find the right information. And the other thing is it took me 20 years.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take someone that long to accumulate all this information. So I'm thinking, I've been very fortunate. I've coached entrepreneurs, businesses, people in their 20s, 30s, their 40s, 50s, 60s. And I just think the way I look at what we do at Platform 7, we literally give people I look at life as like a game.
Yeah.
And when you leave the education, whether it's at 16 or 26, you start the game and you should be equipped. You should have the rule book, the guidebook for life. And I just think that the earlier in life you have that, the better. So if you can have that in your, 20s or 30s, it's so much more helpful than getting the latter stages of your life. And that is really the passion, the drive as to why I've created Platform 7.
Yeah. But you did it in 20 years. But I think that's very fast.
I did it in 20...
Because you succeed already at a young age.
But I left school at 16. I started really young. I started working at 16. And the other thing is, when I say that I was learning how to succeed, I was obsessed. Like it was like a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like, well, as a kid, like my passion was learning and reading and researching and going to seminars and watching interviews. And it was like my life, like I gave my life to it. So it can take people longer as well, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you moved to LA.
I moved to LA.
And you started Platform 7.
Yes.
To teach, learn people how to manifest.
I find that there are so many ambitious people out there, so many, especially in a place like Los Angeles, entrepreneurs, people with goals, and no one has shown them how to get clear on what it is they want, how to manifest those dreams, and also what else it takes to succeed.
Yeah.
And we've created, I mean, the course that you guys did, that is literally like the roadmap. It's all the things that somebody needs in order to succeed. And in a place like LA, it's like the land of the dream.
Yeah.
People go there from all around, not just America, but all around the world with ambition or with goals, but no one's showing them how to do it.
I think a lot of people think they just want to be successful and they just want to succeed.
Yeah.
And before I started the course, I thought the same. I thought, okay, I just want to be successful and I want to make Vedder and Vedder very big. But I didn't know how. And during the course, you make the goals and you get very clear on the goals. I think that's very important because if you just want to succeed, that's not clear enough.
I think, it's a great point you raised there, and I think people talk about success, but they don't actually think about what success looks like to them, and this is a huge question, why? Like somebody says, I want to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because what's driving you, the reason for it is going to tell you a huge amount as to how I can tell. I like to think I can tell quite easily whether someone will succeed by what their driver is. Like, why do they want to get to where they want to get to? Why do they want to have that level of success? But let me ask you guys, from that course, because you talk about goal setting and about success, like what was the biggest takeaway you got from the course?
We talked about this morning, and we were like, during the course, you know what you want in general in life and what you don't want. So you're getting laser focused on the goals.
Yep.
Yeah.
So very specific on the goals, and you're writing down your goals in present time.
Yep.
On private in your private life and your business or career. And when things are happening during or after the course, you immediately know, okay, this is on my path, this is not, So it makes every decision, everything, it's getting in your way easier to understand what's your goal and what is driving you.
I'm with you.
Because a lot of people think our goals are were very clear, but even for us, it was not clear what my goal was. So I think that's very important to know. And a lot of people just don't know.
It's funny, I saw Oprah Winfrey being interviewed last week, and she was asked the question, what's the biggest piece of advice you'd give people in order to succeed, or the thing you think is the most important thing to succeed?
Yeah.
I was really interested to hear what her answer was. And her answer was so simple. And the answer she gave was, you just need to be clear on what you want. And it's so simple, but it's also so sad how few people know exactly where I ask people all the time, what's your goal? What's your aim? What's your ambition? And they look at you, they've never thought about it.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. Most have never been asked.
No.
And also, one thing was in the course was also, what's your purpose in life and what do you want to give back to the world? And at first, I didn't know what my purpose in life was.
I remember you struggling with that one.
Yeah, I didn't know. But now, after I said, okay, I want to be an inspiration for other people, that they can do anything that they want, even if they have no money, no
Education.
education. They come from like a very small village like us.
Yes.
Anna told
And-
it even on TV Monday or Tuesday. When
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it?
What did she say?
That she wants to inspire
Yeah.
other young people.
But
And also,
And that's why we thought of the self-made project, and that was a following part of the course I did.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a huge part of the course when we talk about like the fulfillment and the impact
Yeah.
you have on the world. I get the sense, again doing the research over the years, people get more joy and happiness from what they give rather than what they take from the world. So finding out what it is you're passionate about or what you feel is your purpose or where you feel like you can have an impact on other people's lives is huge.
Yeah.
And in fact, the Self-Made Project, I know for you guys speaking to you about it, the aim is to inspire people and help others, particularly in Amsterdam, get clear on
it's our
where-
passion.
I received a lot of clarity. I've got a
Yeah.
lot of clarity from the course. So I think that's a very important one.
in terms of like,
You don't have to be successful.
yeah.
It's just your good mindset.
Yeah.
But I think that's another key part. It's not just for entrepreneurs. In fact, a lot of the people that do the courses, it's not just business and money orientated. It's people with different kind of goals, personal goals, family related goals,
Yeah.
places they want to live or places they want to visit or
Yeah.
cars they want to drive.
I
It's all
also
of it.
made a lot of personal goals too. So
Yeah.
I think that's also a very important part.
Yeah, it's,
And I have a question.
please.
Can you tell me what of from the people who did the course, like an example of a success story?
My favorite example is I had a young guy. He must have been 26, 27 years old. He was based out of London. He had this business. It was an online business. They actually work with fashion companies.
Yeah.
And he came to me, did the course. The business was a disaster. They were losing money. He lost confidence. They were about to quit because they were losing so much money. And we literally just got very clear on where we were going to take that business. Everything shifted, everything changed. And my favorite part of the journey was the next thing I know, he and his business partner, they were invited onto Dragon's Den in the UK.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this episode and all the dragons want to invest.
No way.
I swear to you. And all the dragons are fighting over each other.
Yeah.
And the best part of it all is him and his business partner, they go like behind the stage or they go take a minute to talk like privately. And they come back and they say, we decided not to take anyone's money. They took no one's money.
Yeah.
They walked off. The publicity they got from that TV show, the company blew up and they ended up selling the company for millions about 3 years ago.
No.
It changed his
Oh,
life.
I love that story.
It
Yeah.
was
That's
he was
amazing.
down and out. It was initially it was not good, and and I actually saw him a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him the question as to what it was, and he just said, after working with you guys, with you Ricky, he said, I just had a super clear plan as to where the business was going to go, and I got my business partner on board and our team on board, and we got there, and it happened. And like you said about Forbes, you don't need to worry too much about the how or plotting it or trying to figure out how it's going to be. It just happens.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
And as an entrepreneur, you also receive a lot of bad advices from
Yeah.
people because everyone in the bar is telling you, oh, you should do this, you have to do this.
Yeah.
And if you listen to everyone, it's very confusing. So I don't know, what is the baddest advice you received ever?
The best.
The best and the baddest?
The best and the worst.
Worst. Baddest.
Right.
Okay, let's start with the worst.
The worst, I went to see a guy when I was maybe 23, 24. And he was a very successful, he had a real estate agency. And I like looked up to his company and I wanted to be like them. And I went to talk to them and I went to talk to him and told him my ambition was to change the industry and do something amazing. And he looked at me and he said, I wanted his advice. And he said, forget it. It's impossible. It's finished. There's no other ways of innovating or doing things differently. I just thought, what terrible advice.
Yeah.
And the truth is, it was actually a blessing because it drove the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had to prove him wrong.
You saw it as fuel.
100%.
Yeah.
I still remember that guy.
Yeah.
So
We
that
have
was...
we have that kind of things too.
Yeah.
And we are saying to each other, okay.
A lot of people
we see
told
it as
us,
fuel.
oh, you're never going to make it.
Yeah.
The jewelry business is already full. It's
Yeah.
full. You have a lot of companies. You're never going to be famous. So,
and
and
you
here we
use
are.
it to drive you, right?
Yeah.
You can't, and as you said at the beginning of that question, you just have to block out. There's so much noise.
Yeah, there's too much noise.
And not
when
everyone
you start.
has your best. You know, we talked about in the course about your goals and your dreams. It's why you have to protect them.
You don't have
Yeah.
to listen to everyone.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the best bit of advice, it actually came from, do you know what, so many amazing pieces of advice I've ever received. I'm actually going to credit this one with my father. I remember there was always like bad news about the economy or about, what's going on in the world, negative stuff.
Yeah.
And he just said to me, ignore the news, ignore the newspapers, just completely ignore it. And he just said, like, you can't control what's the external stuff. All you can control is what's going on with you. And to this day, I've just never listened to any negativity. Even like the world right now, there's lots of bad stuff
Yeah.
going on, but I've still got to get up every day and I'm not going to let it affect my positivity or my goals and my dreams. So blocking out the noise was one of the biggest, the best bits of advice I'd ever received.
That's very good advice. But
Yeah.
do you think everything is possible for everyone?
I get asked this question so often. And it's like, I believe we all have the power and we all have the ability to achieve whatever it is we want. You know, if I'm 5'2", am I going to be an NBA basketball star? It's highly unlikely. But within reason, yeah, I think we all have the power and the ability to achieve whatever
I
it
have
is
a
we
funny
want.
story about
you-
that.
Yeah.
There's just a Netflix series, it's Untold. And there was
Yeah.
also a 5'2" basketball player, very small guy. And he said, oh, I want to be a basketball player. And
In the NBA.
In the NBA. And
Yeah.
everyone was laughing at him. And no, you can't do it. And then there was a contest for basketball players, for not typical basketball players,
Yeah.
but
And one or something.
and one,
Something like that.
like a brand.
Yeah, like it was like not a regular NBA, but it was like where you do the dances and very special tricks.
Street
Yeah.
Okay.
basketball, street basketball.
Yes.
And he won the contest.
It was in whole America, like the best of Miami, the best of New York, and the best of every state has to play against, and then got picked out, and he was the shortest guy.
And he won.
And he won. And he was so good, he ended up in the NBA
That's-
and playing next to very famous basketball players.
That's amazing.
And he was like ginger hair, very short.
Does this mean I can be an NBA star also?
Yeah.
So
It's like amazing, right? It was his dream.
honestly, I believe we're all possible of achieving whatever it is we want if we can put our mind on it. I know you Anna, you always talk about if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your
Yeah.
hands. If you can dream it, you can have it.
Yeah. So you can't tell anyone if you are going to want to be an NBA player. You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if
Well,
you're like
Untold has just proven otherwise. So yes, anything is possible.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
love it.
Yeah, I really love it. Okay, and at the event,
Yes.
we're going to through the 10-week course. It's the same setup, right? Or are we going to do different things?
We are going to be talking about goal setting
Yeah.
and actually how that process works. Like
Okay,
there's a
so-
whole
Goal setting, manifestation.
yes. I also think we may spend some time on vision boards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And-
love vision boards.
I mean, we've spoken about it, but I think vision boards and actually bringing to life the goals you set is big, and I just think it's important people use it. But I want to explain on the day exactly how those vision boards work and why you should do them, how you should do them as well. And also, I know there's going to be some panel stuff, Q&As. We're going to talk about how we've used some of these things in our own respective journeys and entrepreneurship businesses. But they are the main parts of the actual event.
I think we are the living proof of the results
Yeah.
of your course.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice if we tell also a little bit about ourselves
Yep.
and about our journey.
Yeah, and we're doing an introduction about ourselves. And we looked up already like very funny WhatsApp conversations between the two of us when we started Verder and Verder. Like,
Because when we started Verder and Verder, it was a complete disaster.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone was telling us, told you, it's not going to work.
And we had no orders, like no money.
How many years ago was this?
6 years ago, we had
7?
Yeah, we had no. Even when we got to get groceries, we had no money
On our bank accounts to get
So we are
groceries.
WhatsApping each other. I don't know if if we have to get through with this. I have so much worries, and
I want to quit.
Yeah, I
it's
want to
not going
quit.
to work.
yeah,
But let me ask you, the principles of goal setting and being clear on what it is you want, were you using those things back then? Like, could you see it?
But I had one very vivid dream about my jewelry company, and it was very well known in the Netherlands. And I walked down the street, and I saw everyone wearing my jewelry. And I was thinking, it was just at the start. We didn't even have a company yet, so it was just a dream. And I always had hold on to that dream. So
Yeah.
when the times were very low and we didn't have any money and we were confused and lost,
Yeah.
I thought, no, I had this dream. We have to keep going because we're going to succeed. And I always told Anne,
and we're going to prove everyone wrong.
And you did.
Yeah,
And here it is.
yeah,
So I think that's a nice thing we're going to tell at the 13th.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But
That'd be
I think the course is also like good for people who are already did things like very well and then want to improve.
A lot of the people that come on the course in Los Angeles, I say 60%, they've already succeeded.
Yeah,
Because you also have like famous people, right?
Yeah, there were two of, I guess one of my clients, there were two very successful real estate guys. They were one of the big TV shows in LA.
Yeah.
And I started working with them about 2 years ago. And they're famous all around America. And they've had huge success. And they literally sell House of the Stars to the biggest, Hollywood stars in California. And they did the course, they came and worked with Platform 7 because they literally, for about 2-3 years, they had hit a ceiling and they didn't know where to go next. So, we help people work out what the next goal is, what the next aim is, what the next dream is. So yes, even people who have succeeded, we help people go to the next level effectively.
If you're telling me this, I want to do the course again.
yeah, me too.
I think you've got enough on your plate.
No, not yet.
I'm going to take notes.
You just showed me the list
Yeah,
you created. I mean, it's crazy.
But you have to dream big, right?
You have to dream big, but you have to be a little bit like irrational. Like you can't be sensible.
That's right, because the Forbes was a little bit crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, the fighter Conor McGregor, the UFC guy. I think I told you to watch. He was a world champion. He dreamed about it since he was a child, since he was like a 16-year-old plumber in Ireland. And before every fight, he would always predict exactly when in the fight, which round he would win the match. And after doing this 6, 7, 8 times, a reporter in a press conference, they asked Conor McGregor, how do you keep doing this? How do you keep predicting? And he just said, I see it and I visualize it and I manifest it. And he said, to do this stuff, you've got to be a little bit like crazy.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like if you're going to be logical and practical and realistic, don't bother with the manifesting process. But it's true. It's a little bit nuts.
Are you a little bit crazy?
Am I a little bit crazy? I'm 100% crazy. In the best part, no. It's, I don't know. I was always, anyone telling me what I couldn't do, it just set me off.
I have a secret.
Please. It's not going to be that secret,
A
is
few
it?
years ago, I once had a fight with someone because I told this person, in the future, I have a reality show of myself. And he said, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy. And I said, no, I really believe in it.
And you walked away, right?
Yeah. I walked away. I said, I'm sure I'm going to have a reality show. And by that time, I was nothing. I think I was still in college. And he said, why and how? And it's not going to happen.
No, he said, who wants to
Look at your life. No
look
one.
at your life?
But why did you say that?
I don't know.
You really believed it?
Because I'm crazy, I think.
But yeah.
I think he asked you, what's your dream or something?
Yeah, and I said, okay, I'm going to have my own reality show. I don't know why I said it.
That's amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nigel, going back to Nigel, he always said to me, if you can see it, he always put it like this, like life is like a menu. You go into a restaurant, you can order whatever you want. But if you don't see it on the menu, you can't order it.
Yeah.
So Nigel lives on an island in Florida. I'll never forget the first time I went to see this island. And I was like, I literally couldn't talk because I didn't realize people could live on an island like this. So him and his wife, Lynn, were showing me around the island. And I was just speechless.
Yeah.
And I looked at Lynn, his wife, and I just said, I don't want to embarrass myself, but I can't believe what I'm seeing. And she said, why do you think you're here? He wants to show you this because if you can see it, you can have it.
Oh,
and that's how it works.
It's on the menu now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So is it your dream now? It's on your vision board.
Do you know what? I won't mind going there for vacations, but I don't think I need to live on an island. It'd be too quiet for me, I think.
But you're still meeting up with Nigel.
I still meet up with Nigel. I meet up with Nigel. I speak to him 2 or 3 times a week.
That's a lot.
We buy real estate together, which was a dream of mine as a kid. And yeah, he's more like a friend now. He's in his early 70s now. He's more of a friend than a mentor, but he still dreams big and he does amazing things and he's still dreaming.
He should be very proud of you.
But the funny thing is, Nigel was your lifesaver, I guess?
Yes.
Do you see it that way?
He absolutely changed. Yeah, he changed my life. He saved my life. He believed in me and saw things in me that no one else did.
Yeah, but now you're exactly like that for other people. That's the funny thing, right?
It's a nice way of putting it. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think that's a good end of this podcast because Ricky is coming to Amsterdam the 13th again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he can be your lifesaver too. Dus voor iedereen, 13 januari is ons event met Ricky. En zoals je al hebt kunnen horen, hij heeft heel veel mensen geholpen. Onder andere ook ons.
Ja.
En hij kan ook jou helpen. Dus het lijkt ons heel leuk als jij naar ons event komt. Zelf gaan we ook iets heel leuks vertellen. Daar zijn we nu al leuke ideeën voor aan het maken. Dus hopelijk zien we het daar.
Nou, hoe leuk was dit?
Ja, echt niet normaal. Ik vind zijn eigen verhaal, dus hoe hij zelf is begonnen en hoe hij succesvol is geworden, dat vind ik gewoon vooral ook heel interessant.
Ja, ik moet zeggen dat ik er weer helemaal lekker in zit.
Het is gewoon dat het eigenlijk dus niet uitmaakt waar je begint. Zolang je maar weet wat je wil en als je ergens begint.
Ja,
dat is het allerbelangrijkste.
Maar ik denk wel dat iedereen dit kan ook.
Ja, denk het ook. Ja. En je denkt vaak van tevoren, oh, je moet echt een goede opleiding hebben. Ik weet niet, je moet allemaal voordelen hebben op de rest.
Ja.
Maar eigenlijk is dat gewoon helemaal niet zo.
Of geld.
Ja. Maar dat hoeft helemaal niet.
Nee.
Dus het maakt niet eens uit of je knap bent, geld hebt, een goede opleiding hebt. Dat is allemaal niet nodig. Als je wat wil, dan kan je het gewoon bereiken. Alleen je moet weten wat je wil.
Ja.
Dus dat is het allerbelangrijkste.
Want, wat zegt hij ook altijd? Het is een menukaart.
Oh ja, het leven is een menukaart. Je moet gewoon weten wat je kiest.
Wat op het menu staat.
Ja, en wat je kiest.
Ja, en wat je
van
wil.
het menu kiest. Ja.
Maar ook wat er überhaupt op het menu staat.
Ja. Ja.
Ja, dus dat vind
maar
ik
eigenlijk
heel
staat alles op het menu. Alleen moet je gewoon zelf weten wat je kiest.
Ja. Maar goed, hij kan het allemaal veel beter uitleggen dan wij.
Ja.
Dus als je er meer over wil weten, dan zou ik sowieso even een kaartje bestellen.
Ja.
En dat kan via de link in onze bio. Of de.selfmade.project op Instagram. En er staat ook een link in de bio. En dan kun je ook nog kaartjes bestellen.
Maar volgens mij is het al bijna vol. Dus we hebben echt nog maar een paar kaartjes. Ja. Het ging iets harder dan verwacht.
Ja.
Dus mocht je nog bij willen zijn, bestel snel.
Ja, en Ricky komt niet zomaar terug. Dus ik zou er echt zeker bij zijn.
Ja, dat is wel echt zo.
Ja.
Live from LA.
Ja. Dit was hem weer. En voor de podcastluisteraars. We hebben hem ook gefilmd vandaag.
Ja.
En deze komt ook op onze YouTube. En dat is de eerste keer dat we dat doen. Want we kregen hier zoveel vraag naar of het ook gefilmd werd.
Ja, dus dit is eigenlijk de eerste keer. Dus we hopen dat je het leuk vindt.
Ja, en hou onze socials in de gaten. Want we gaan vaker filmen.
Ja.
En dan laten we het op onze socials weten. En dan komt het op ons YouTube kanaal.
Ja, dit gaan we erin houden. Bedankt voor het kijken en luisteren.